Nice. Hello. Hello, everybody. So, everybody's doing nice. Everybody's all settled. Okay, we can start. Well, first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Marcos Mauro, and I'm the head of the office in Buenos Aires. You all knew we had an office in Buenos Aires, right? Because it's the coolest place to be. Okay, so yeah, I bet that you all knew. So briefly, let's go over the agenda and the things that we're going to see today. As a matter of fact, there's going to be a brief introduction. I'm going to talk about a few things that probably come to your mind when you think about Argentina. Then I'm going to give you a brief history of what went on in Buenos Aires since it started, which is nice. It's a nice piece of context to understand where we're going and where we are right now. Then I'm going to give some pointers about how can you visit us and what are the right ways of doing that and what are the options. Saying, hey, I want to relocate, and you just pop into Buenos Aires office. That is not okay, all right? So, and then we're going to have some time for questions. So, really, the whole presentation is called Mi Buenos Aires Querido. Anybody knows what this is? Mi Buenos Aires Querido. It's a tango, right? Yeah, you knew it. You knew it, no. So, yeah, what I was trying to say is that Mi Buenos Aires Querido is really a tango from Carlos Gardel. So you never heard of it. Okay, well, but it's funny because it's the name of a song and it's also what I believe about Buenos Aires and what most people that have visited Buenos Aires think about Buenos Aires, like, for example, Julia here, okay? So a brief intro about Argentina. So whenever somebody tell you Argentina and you just go start, thinking about stuff, what do you think about? You can probably think about tango. This is one thing. Like, for whatever reason, people think that in Argentina, we're all tango professionals. So before they visit, then they understand the reality behind this. They also think about mate, which is, mate is our national beverage. Okay, it's like some sort of tea probably, but with a straw. And unlike this particular picture, really what happens in reality is that, we all drink from the same straw. So that is kind of disgusting sometimes for people from abroad, but it's the way it is. You know, some people also think about this guy, which really is a douchebag. He's Maradona. We actually at some point decided that he was really not a good role model to follow, and then we invented this guy, which is Messi. So sort of right now, new generations sort of point to this guy, who is also a quitter now. So we don't know. I mean, just like 2 days ago, he said that he's gonna leave the national team. Probably, yes, but still. So, and there's another thing about Argentina. Probably you don't know this, but we hug and kiss a lot. I don't know why that happens, and we do it between dudes. Okay, so this is very common. I mean, it's just like, okay, hello, how are you doing? And we just go like a kiss. Probably it's uncomfortable at first, but then you start to like it. Okay, so I have a pointer here. Amazing. Okay, so Argentina is right down there. You probably knew this from before, like from probably school or something. But I'm going to give you a little pointer just to how to identify where Buenos Aires is. Because sometimes, like for example, I saw in some client presentations, we put Buenos Aires like around this parts. It's like, I don't know, it's like 1,000 kilometers south. So really, the only way to locate Buenos Aires is to find the biggest belly of the country, which is this, okay? And then you see this, like some water here, and then you see this is a little brother, Uruguay. So right there in the, like, the exact verge of this belly, we have Buenos Aires. So it's quite easy to identify. This is just a tip. This is in Buenos Aires, our Casa Rosada. Okay, this is like instead of having like a white house, we have a pink house. It really has some historical meaning, but probably it's not relevant right now. So there were two parties. One used to wear red, the other one used to wear white. So eventually, yes, like kissing, pink house. Yeah, you get where I'm going. Perfect. This is the parliament and the Congress, actually. So yeah, I picked really cool pictures. It really doesn't look like this, but I'm trying to convince people. Yeah. Okay. And this is right in front of the office. This is right where we have the office right now. This is the obelisco, which is really, there's not much into it, like just a big thing there, like a obelisk. And it's right there in the middle of the city, as a matter of fact. And our office is just right across the street from here. So it's really right there in the mere center of the city, okay? This is, for example, is the Women's Bridge, el Puente de la Mujer in Puerto Madero, also probably 5 to 10 blocks away from the office. This is Puerto Madero, another view. So this is also, actually our office would be a couple of blocks through this street, really not far. This is Caminito, where a lot of the tango takes place. It's another neighborhood around probably like 2-3 kilometers away from the office, actually. And really, right now, I'm going to give you a fact or two about Buenos Aires in general, so that you have some idea of what we're talking about. Buenos Aires size is like 200 square kilometers big, so it's not really a big city. If you take into consideration that the surface of St. Petersburg is like 7 times bigger, it's not really big. So the population there is quite dense because from BA, just the Ciudad Autónoma de Buenos Aires, which is the city and the metropolitan area, we have like more than 12 million people living there. And this is really where we source. We have some people from the office that are coming from other locations beyond the city itself, and it's in the metropolitan area. So it's quite common, really, to hire people from this 12 million pool. Then we have 70 universities, both public and private, and we have around actually more than 100,000 foreign students in BA. So it's quite a cosmopolitan city, more for young people. Okay. Then the other facts that are really important is that 100% of dudes kiss and hug each other just to say hi. That you have to. It's a fact, really, 100%. 90% of people really share mate in groups. They drink from the same straw. That is just another thing that you have to say. Almost nobody less than 80 years old dances tango. So really, do not expect like me to dance tango. I don't know how to dance tango, and pretty much nobody does around the city. So it's really impossible. I mean, it's just for show and really old people. And 75% of guys really play football quite decently. They're good at football. I suck at football. And this is why, because, we're all nerds at the office. Usually, like, the nerds from the office is like 10% of really good football players. Yeah, it's probably, a couple of years ago. Okay. Okay, so now the next part of the presentation is actually some history about the office. This is very interesting, and since I am a fan of Game of Thrones, I have sort of separated it in eons, okay, just to make it like more dramatic and interesting, okay. So this is actually the building where we had our initial office. It's a very nice building. It's actually a historical building. They're not letting anybody touch like the facade of the building, because it's like a monument right now for the city, really old. And our office was this balcony over here. Oh no, actually this balcony over here. Yeah, we were just like there. Actually, just because of the angle, you can't see Jules working there, but there she was. I tell you, every day. So this is basic timeline. So the first was the Eon of Dim Lights. It was actually called the Eon of Dim Lights because we really had these light bulbs that really were not as bright. They were quite dim. To start with, we were just like 4 people at the office, plus the Zavs, Julia and Michael. And it was a small clustered space, really, just with rooms more than, just an open space. We had no infrastructure whatsoever, just a Wi-Fi connection, and no projects. So really, literally, zero. And then came, around December 2014, the eon of the new faces. in which we started the integration with the AW Systems Group, which was a company that was acquired by DataArt that had a small group of people working in Buenos Aires. So we started like somewhat, bringing them into the office. It was quite a good time because we started, meeting new people that were already somehow working on projects for DataArt because those projects were projects that came from the AW Systems company. And was, of course, the Ian of Nicholas Rauch, which is our delivery manager in Buenos Aires. He started coming every day to the office, which is a big thing. He lives like 40 kilometers away from the office, so he comes by car every day. Quite interesting. Um, we also received some long-term relocates. Actually, the first Mohican here was Alexei Semyonov. We also hired a PM. The initial developers that we hired from the market was still chaotic in terms of integration with central processes. Really, we had little to none integration to most of the practices and processes around for the global company, and most projects that we had at that time were inherited by this company that was acquired. Then came the eon of the two kitchens. Okay, the eon of the two kitchens, and also known as rehab. Why rehab? Because there was this lady singing, "They're trying to make me go to rehab, baby." Said no, 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 all day long, one time after the other for 8 hours a day, just right down the office. So it happened every day, and this Amy Winehouse impersonator was singing this song all day long, but also the two kitchens because we really, started renting some more office space. And as a matter of fact, we had two separate kitchens in the same floor. So that was quite of a thing because, we had the coffee maker like in the other kitchen, so it was quite far from some of the people in the office, and it was quite a thing. That's why it's called like that. And so we started hiring some more people for back office, like for example, a sysadmin and HR person. Also integrated some of the central processes, rented extended space, as I said before. We started collaborating in more projects with the central offices, and it was great. And we continue to hire developers like QA and one more PM, and well, that was quite nice. And now we're currently going through the eon of the server room because we now have some infrastructure at the Buenos Aires office. We moved to a new, better office, fully integrated with central processes right now. We hired more back office staff right now. We have a support person, for example. We increased the integration with the DMs right now, mostly through Anton and Jure Kavritz, Anton Semyonov and Jure Kavritz. We're pretty much stuck in with every DM out there, trying to get people to be staffed from Buenos Aires, which is really great. And we're currently 32 people at the office. A lot of them are still, just to be completely honest with you, a lot of them are still working quite a lot remotely, but we're trying to change that. So here are a few pictures about new office. This is the just the reception that we have. It's quite nice. We still haven't decorated it much. We also have the floor. It's an open floor. We have some guys there. This guy was a visitor. Really nice, Anton Januk. Um, these guys over there were visitors too. Intruders. This guy's a real good. Okay, and we also have this, a fancy meeting room. What do you say? Um, like we have some. Yes, looks nice, don't it? We have a lot of booze going on in there. Um, we really don't drink it. It's just for show. And this is the view from our office. Actually, this was dusk view from the balcony, as a matter of fact. And we have some other perks at the office. Like for example, we have an arcade machine that we just bought. It's amazing. We can play Mortal Kombat there. So it's like, yeah, it's creating a lot of buzz around the office. This is great. And also we have a parrilla. You know what a parrilla is, right? We just grill stuff there. Yes, it's actually you can access the parrilla from here, and you can access the office through there. So if this was a door, we have this at the office, and this is just a show of what it can do. You can see it. This is chorizo, regular thing that we have. This is like a blood sausage or something, lomo, sirloin, whatever you want to call it. some bread. So yeah, we got things under control there. It's kind of nice. So if you like it, you can visit. I mean, if you really, it's a thing that you can do. I mean, if you liked it so far, at least the arcade machine and the parrilla, you can visit us. And really, I want to leave something very straight and very clear. There's a secret hidden agenda when I say that you can visit. Okay? There's a reason for it, really. I mean, we'd love to have you. We're nice people, and we would love to see you there. But the other reason is integration, which is so important for us. So important. Integration, yeah, in case you didn't understand what I was saying. Now, really, I mean, right now, we're trying very hard from the Buenos Aires office to integrate with other offices. And really, integrate is just not, it's something that happens when you're like face to face with people and you realize that they're, you know, very much like you in many, many ways. Yeah, we probably kiss dudes. We do that a lot, but that's probably on the surface, but a little below there, you can see that we are just the same, okay? We are working, we want to service clients, we want to do a great job, we're looking to improve our careers, we're looking to be better, to know more, and we're really looking forward to that. So really, whenever there's anybody coming down to the office, it's like a sort of evangelist of data art culture. So we really need you guys. I mean, that is the reason why. So there's a secret agenda. And how would you get started if you wanted to visit us? It's also quite easy. I mean, you first have to plan ahead. Make sure your PM and your DM know about your plans and that they are okay with them. It's really, really important. That is very important. Once you make your plans, you have to send an email to our HR BA, okay? And just let us know, and we will let you know if there's space. We currently have space at the office, so it shouldn't be an issue. But of course, we have plans, and we're hiring new people, and we have others, visitors, stuff, so on and so forth, that we have to make sure that everybody will have a place to work and be productive while at the office. Another very important rule is that you must have a non-expired visa. It's not that Russians or Ukrainians or anybody needs a visa to get into Argentina, but the really important thing is that you can't have your visa expire. So if you're going to visit us for more than 3 months, we have to know ahead of time. Okay, you can't just go ahead and wing it and just be there like, hey, I'm going to stay for 6 more months, because it's not like that, and it could be problems for us, for the company, and also for you guys. So if your visit is longer than 3 months, it might require special attention. It doesn't mean that we cannot handle it, but it might require special attention, okay? And your passport, it has to be like a sort of a newish passport. It doesn't have to expire like tomorrow, because it doesn't look good in borders usually, okay? About relocation, really, there's only one simple rule. You cannot be at BA office with an expired visa. Again, I know I'm being redundant here, but it's very, very important. So if you're relocating, or you're thinking of a midterm kind of visit, we can plan ahead and we can help you there. But you have to bear in mind that everything starts in your office. It does not start when you arrive to Ezeiza Airport in Buenos Aires and you let us know that you want to relocate for midterm, because there are certain things that we have to get done when you're back home, not in Buenos Aires, okay? So we have technical visas, which allow people to stay in the country for, let's say, a period of 1 year. It has to be renewed every month. So, it takes some special attention, let's say, in a sense that it might, require you to go to migrations like every month. It's not really a big deal. It's just like a 1 hour and a half kind of paperwork that you have to do just for one day a month. But still, you have to bear that in mind. It's renewable, but not forever. Okay, you cannot be on a technical visa forever. Just in the Buenos Aires office. Then we have work visas, so we can really relocate people. Usually work visas will apply to people that need to relocate because of something that either the company needs, like for example, we are servicing clients in the United States, so you guys are located in Russia, and probably it would be better, and it was agreed with the client that you would come and work from Buenos Aires. you can do that, okay? And work visas are bound to contracts. So if we sign a contract that says it's going to be for a year or a year and a half or 2 years, then we just have to renew the contract and your visa will automatically, well, not automatically, but actually can be renewed quite easily, okay? Um, then, of course, the means of relocation could be your own terms or it could be sponsored. But again, it's sponsored only when it's servicing certain purpose of a particular project. So if not, of course, you're gonna have to do it on your terms and have everybody involved at the project management, delivery management level agree to it. Okay. And again, and just to reiterate, it all starts in your city. So contact HRBA for more information. You can just go ahead, contact us, whatever. It could be just a question. We will reply to you as soon as possible. There's a lot of people just listening to that distribution list. So we should return. We should respond quite fast. Okay, so now, guys,
Marcos,
yes.
people ask what is an average cost of living in Buenos Aires?
Just
Just an average cost of living, I don't know,
okay,
food.
the average cost of
Yeah.
living. Okay, of course, if you just go like full Airbnb, it's got to be one cost. If you get some support from the local office, it's probably going to be a different cost. So usually, right now, what we're paying in average for the apartments that we're renting, it goes from $550 to around $700 or $680. So really, it's a whole universe. I mean, there's a lot of places you can live. Of course, you always want to live right close to the office or in some place that it's nice and that you can get out and probably get a beer real quickly close to your home. But then again, it goes like around that. And then for food and stuff like that, it could be probably, I would say, as it is right now for St. Petersburg, probably it would be probably the same or a little bit more in terms of costs of just having a burger outside or something like that. So I would say that in general, it is quite an expensive city for visitors. But if you're living there and you're learning, a thing or two about, how to buy your food and where to go and stuff like that, it'll get much cheaper. Okay. I hope that has answered your question, and I have a little encore for you guys. So this encore, the idea of this encore is to just show you a few of the things that you can do in Buenos Aires. A lot of people that have visited us really took the opportunity to visit other places, not just Buenos Aires in Argentina, which is great. I mean, Buenos Aires is great and it rules. It's the best city in the world. But there are other places that you can actually visit. We have El Cerro de los Siete Colores, okay, which is a mountain, really, really nice, that has 7 different colors in it. It's in I don't know if pronounce I don't know if I should pronounce this because they told me that it sounds funny to you guys. So it should be Jujuy. Jujuy. Okay, well, I don't know. Probably it sounded really bad. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Uh, then we got las Cataratas del Iguazú en Misiones. Okay, Misiones is a different province, not Buenos Aires. It's far north. It's on the northern, eastern part of the country. So it's beautiful cataratas. You can go there and really get super, super duper wet just by looking at them because there's just like water floating around. It's really amazing. You have El Tren de las Nubes in Salta, for example. Tren de las Nubes is a train that is like, I don't know how many, it's like 4,000 meters up there because it's up in a mountain. It's up in a mountain, and also it has you know, this big pillars over there that are holding the railways just even higher. So it's quite common when it's not really the sun is not shining like this, and you have some clouds. It's quite common that the clouds will be like around here. So that's why it's called El Tren de las Nubes. Nubes means cloud, and tren means train. Okay, and then we have El Glaciar de Perito Moreno in Santa Cruz. Okay, so it's a big chunk of ice, and it melts during summer. And when it melts, big chunks of it just fall, and they make like this tremendous sound and tidal waves, and you can be like probably just around here, and your boat will go like, "Hey!" So it's quite nice, quite nice. Then we have El Valle de la Luna in San Juan. It's called the Moon Valley because it resembles really like a moon, probably. It's like being in the outer space, right? San Rafael Mendoza, that's where most wine comes from. Okay, have some mountains there. We have a lot of vineyards. Península Valdez in Chubut. You can go see whales. Actually, this is an actual whale. It's not. It's not Photoshop there. It was there. They told me, and now really, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank for this great crowd that we had today. There's a bunch of you, and I'm being told that there's a lot of people watching too. So it's great, and I want to give you a chance to ask any questions. So go ahead, guys.
Marcos, so the first question is it safe to visit Argentina with children?
Okay, it's a great question. Actually, you know, Argentina in general, and Buenos Aires, it's like any big city, Buenos Aires in particular. Of course, it has better places and not so nice places. In general, it's not like it's a thing to I don't know, to snatch babies and ask for ransom. It's not something that is huge there, but I would say that security is it's quite okay, in the city. Of course, the guys, the other locations you can go visit are very safe. Usually, no problem whatsoever. There are just a few tips to probably about security, just to bear in mind. Just don't go counting dollars like in the middle of the downtown. It's not a good idea. It can probably snatch it away from you because, of course, some people that will be just waiting to do that. Also, when you're talking on your phone, be really careful. Try not to, be talking all of the time with a really fancy phone like this, like a phablet or like something really big. Just try to avoid that. And but other than that, really, there are no, major security and concerns to bear in mind. It's a very nice place to visit. Any other questions? Come on, guys. Don't be afraid. Yay. There you go, Kate. Okay, well, actually, in Argentina in general, the percentage of people that really can speak English is quite low. But if you go to the city, to Buenos Aires, I would say that quite the opposite. It's quite high. In general, you can find people that can speak English, but of course, sometimes if you go to the supermarket, for example, the cashier might have some problems, communicating in English, for example. But if you ask for help, everybody's usually very willing to help. They will try to help you in English, so it's quite widespread. I mean, and usually communication skills, in comparison with other cities that I've visited, is it's probably a little above the median in Buenos Aires. Okay. No, of course, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a good observation. As a matter of fact, it's true. I mean, if you are planning to visit less than 3 months, you really don't have to worry at all about visa. You just need to worry about, having a valid passport at the time that you will leave the country, and that is all. Usually, if let's say that you go to migrations, and they ask you how long are you going to stay, 2 weeks, and your passport will be void like probably in 3 weeks, is not good news. I mean, you should have at least your passport valid until the end of your tourist visa, which is automatic, and you don't need any paperwork done before you go there. So you just go there with your Russian passport, for example, or Ukrainian passport, and you can go through no problem. Okay? Thank you so much, Ira. Igor, yes. Thank you so much for asking that. Actually, I was hoping that somebody would bring that up. As a matter of fact, I think that it's going to be some really not well-known team. So it's not going to be Boca nor River. So it's going to be probably, I don't know, Lanús again or something like that. It's going to be a crappy championship. Yeah.
Marcos, the next question is in compare price between Russia and Argentina, how big is the difference?
Okay. O-
overall.
Okay, overall. Okay. Really, really, you have to bear in mind before I answer that question that I am not really professional at understanding how is the cost of living here in Russia. I don't, I've been here like for 5 days or so, so still with this succinct knowledge that I have on the matter, now I can say that just for and this I can only compare in terms of tourists. I know that for tourists in Argentina is at least 20% more expensive than for tourists here in St. Petersburg, for example. So if that's indicative of anything, we should probably revisit this by trying to use some of those products out there just to compare the cost of living, the real cost of living, including tariffs and rent and price of food and so on and so forth and recreation. Probably it's going to be better than just asking me with the poor knowledge that I have on the matter. It's mostly just oriented to being a tourist. So, you know, I hope that that not answer to your question have satisfied your needs. Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Great question, dude. Yes. Actually, Argentina is pretty not that cold ever. I mean, but in during winter, like for example, right now, it can get like it can dance around 0, 2 degrees, 5, 7, something like that. But it's definitely great to visit like from August up until like probably the end of the year. It's really nice. Then in December, January, and February, it's hell. It's very hot, very very hot. Still, they told me that here it's very very cold. So if you want to get away from that, it's probably a good time to do it. So again, really, in terms of activity of companies, which really probably will not specifically interest you, but in terms of activity of companies, and that means in terms of movement around the city, January and February, it's going to be quite low. So, I mean, you're not going to find as many people walking around the streets because most people are on vacation. So you can really feel the impact of vacation because it usually happen in January and February. In those dates, it's quite it's like a more like quiet city. It's very nice. Actually, I love that time of the year because I don't mind really feeling hot when I go out, and I also like just for it to be not so crowded. So yeah, probably I would recommend September ish, October or something like that. Probably. Okay. Yes. Oh, that's a good question. Great question. Actually, it used to be a problem. It used to be kind of a big problem. But right now, let's say it's nothing like that right now. Only I would not recommend to, for example, do this. You go and buy a Boca Juniors T-shirt, and then you go the on match day, you go to River Plate, and you probably sit around the River Plate fans with your Boca Juniors t-shirt. That I would not recommend. It's very dangerous. But you can walk around the city, no problem. I mean, it's like a very common thing. Locals do it a lot. They will just wear the t-shirt of the team they support, and that's it. So it's not really that terrible. It It's a great question. As a matter of fact, there are many companies servicing clients all over the world from Buenos Aires. So the major outsourcing companies are there doing IT. I mean, like Capgemini, Accenture. Well, we have a local one which is huge, which is called Globant and Tata Consulting. So we have many many companies there. And for IT market, they say that it's currently in full employment. It's not really like that, but it's a way of saying that usually when you're there, let's say that you get fired from your company, you'll usually be like in the streets for 2 or 3 days without a job, and then you will get hired because really demand is probably higher than offer. Take into consideration that those 70 universities, even though they are universities, around 20 of them are dedicated to something specific, like for example arts, and they are not producing really engineers, but then 50 of them are, so it's still a huge market. The thing about hiring from Buenos Aires is that we still haven't really focused on hiring really entry level kind of developers or really junior people. We plan to do so in the near future, but we haven't done it because just for matters of integration it was much easier probably to hire someone from the mid to higher to senior level of seniority, just for him to have a, let's say, shorter time to market, and to be productive in projects abroad much easier. Okay, sir. Sir. But it's too late. I mean, but it was great initiative though. Yeah, actually, the currently you really don't need pretty much anything. You can get a visa. I mean, work visas usually apply to all children of the person and the family, so they go for the extended family, and the children that are less than 18 years old. So if your children has to go to university, the card that you will be, but there is a chance to getting a student visa. You cannot work on that visa officially, but you can study, and it's quite a simple process. Usually it takes like around 2 months. So as for university being free, there are many options of free university, and will be free for foreign students, and that probably explains the more than 100,000 people from other countries studying in Buenos Aires. So it's absolutely free. Really, there's nothing that you have to pay, and it's possible to study from there. Not for postgraduate education. Even public schools that offer postgraduate education will charge you usually like the price that it would be in other countries around Latin America. So the cost of education is really very, very Argentina. It's in Spanish, yes. Support for that. Yeah, you wanted to. That MBA that you were planning on, it's not going to happen in Buenos Aires. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so over there, yes. Sure. Yeah. I mean, there was a question over there. I don't want to miss that one.
I've heard that the exchange rate was fixed by the state. Is it still the case?
It's a great question. Thank you for asking. As a matter of fact, yes, it was like that for quite a long time. It was fixed, so it was like arbitrarily like in 9 or something like that, or 8 something. It was kind of a thing for us, of course, for running operations from Argentina. Right now, it's not technically fixed, but the thing that is happening is like the president of Argentina is actually he's a very powerful dude from establishment. So I have. This is just a personal opinion. I think that there are other things being done to control the volatility of the peso, um, and the FX rate, but they are being done from the private sector and not the public sector. So what I'm saying is that probably the president is asking for some favors to some powerful friends to just keep it like it is right now, because it's also, even though right now it's at 15 more or less, it was a 9 or 8 something, and right now it's at 15 after Brexit. Probably it still have to go up a little bit more.
But if you go, I mean, you don't have black market for currency exchange
You
anymore.
do have a black market
Yeah,
because
still
the
there.
you know the official market is for declared money. So you have to have that money in the bank in order to use the official market. And if you don't have that money in the bank, you just go to exchange parlors dodgy exchange parlors that can provide the service and will probably take a few cents off of you just for each dollar that you exchange. Okay? All right. Anyone else?
Uh,
Hey, Andre.
hey,
Hello.
nice to see you here. I'm so glad to see you in St. Petersburg.
Nice.
Question about this, like, kind of a tourist trip for 2 or 3 months to work from Buenos Aires. Could you give us a drill down for the costs? I mean, who pays for the rent? Who pays for the tickets? When I go to my project committee for my with my DM, how much should I ask for sponsorship, or should I cover that by myself?
It's a good question. Actually, if it's just a tourist kind of visit, you're gonna have to pay for it. It's like sponsoring for that. I mean, if you're going there just because you want to visit all the wonderful places that I showed, it's gonna be airfare mostly, and then probably you're gonna have to think of airfare for the whole family. I mean, everybody that you take in there. Then you're gonna have to think for rent, and probably the rent will be more or less in the 700, kind of 750 a month. You can get probably a decent at that money. And then of course, food and entertainment, that could vary, a lot according to your expectations of what entertainment is. But really, I mean, probably for the airfare, I don't know. It's on the usually just kind of around the probably $2,000 per ticket to go from here. You know, uh,
For ticket for New York, for example.
I wouldn't know how much a ticket for New York costs from here, but probably it is. Yes, yes. So it's around $2,000 actually for a grown up, and again, if the project, if it makes sense for the project, it's okay. It's a delivery management kind of decision. So if it will help integrate the team, if you will be working at a different time zone and that will benefit the client. There are many things, and you can be very creative here of how you can add additional, can provide additional value to the account and to the team that is currently servicing that account, so as to request the sponsorship. And I think that everybody's got to be very reasonable in terms of what can be done, but you have to also serve certain purpose to be sponsored. Okay, so there's have to be certain value provided to probably the account that you're working for. Okay, all right. Any other questions? We're done then. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and for listening. And it's been great. Thank you for your questions. Very interesting. Uh, Thank you for the Oscar. I mean, mom, you there? No, not really. Thank you.